Yo, so many pairs of hands in the air look like we holding up the sky. Yo, as if the sky's falling. But no, it's not the sky's falling. We as a culture is falling, dropping like flies, no metaphor intended. Police in the street shooting down intentionally, no mystery. Because you see the light in your skin, I mean the darker your skin, the more likely you too can become a target. It's that simple. Because you see, the system got to eat and they starve. They starve before our melanin, just like a simple bottle of water for those in Flint, Michigan, and now Mississippi. My prayers go out to them. You see, the black man, original man, founders of civilization, we create the power in every nation. So when they kill us, it creates dehydration and documentation amongst the next generation. Energy, 11 elements seduced from the earth is a lecture the way they crucify us through our own music. But you see, we the ones that let them do it. I'm looking around like, man, where they do that at? Where they do that at? Only in America. Only in America, my Don King voice. It's crazy how we went from representing royalty to jealousy for one another. But
the world has a weapon, a gun, a bomb, some type of weapon of mass destruction. Well, we have a sword, which is the word of God, which is more powerful than any weapon of mass destruction. So that's what War Cry is all about. It tells you who we are and whose we are.
I love it.
Yeah.
Man, you better support Tony. You know why? Because I said it. The Chicago Bridge Magazine. Because he said it. Because he said it. So what was that experience like, man, when you got out, you know what I mean? You put the book together, you know what I'm talking about, this book right here. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
This is the one you signed for me, man, you know what I mean? So I sure
What date?
appreciate it.
What did I sign at? 10, 12, 15. Woo, that's a long time ago.
I'm saying so.
That book is a classic.
Yeah.
You might have had one of the original books. Peace and blessings. Hey, I definitely want to welcome you back for another great celebrity interview. I know it's been a while. I haven't been doing this often, but every time I do it, it's going to be a treat. So I just want to welcome everyone back. I'm so grateful that everyone is here today. When you see this video, I definitely need you to do one thing. I need you to share this video, you know what I mean, in that order. So today I actually want to welcome another celebrity guest, and just happens to be a good friend of mine. And I'm talking about the one and only legendary singer. She's a songwriter, and she's also signed to Soulistic 360. And she is a sole founder and owner of Wearing Big Hats, along with Sweet Love Cookies and More, and Turnup Life Next Level. And I'm talking about the one, the only, Chicago's own Aziza Lisa Z. Welcome to the show, Queen. Peace to you, and I'm just great to see you again always.
Hey. Yes, great to be here. It is definitely a blessing to be here. Glad to be back home,
Yes,
back in Chicago.
always. Yes,
Yeah.
how well we gonna get into that, and because for those that don't know, you know what I mean, when you the energy behind when you say it's glad to be home,
Yeah.
it's just not like a regular glad to be home. It's a story behind that, right?
There is a story behind that, a recent story. Yes.
Right. So, well, before we get and jump into that, and get them all the tea of what happened, back in October, then please, let me ask, how are you doing today, Queen?
I am amazing, other than Chicago's cold. So I got a combination now, feeling and remembering Jamaica and the heat and the beautiful weather, along with my Chicago turtleneck. Literally, it is freezing outside. So yeah, but I'm still glad to be home, even with that. Yeah. And let me turn my phone down.
Okay, no, absolutely, I understand. Were you able to stay
healthy, because that's a dramatic change of weather coming from Jamaica and coming to this Chicago, windy city.
Most definitely. Yeah, so my whole thing with that is just stay up on your vitamins, your nutrients, make sure you're eating as good as you can. All of us fall off a little bit, me included. Of course, I have a dessert company, so I can fall off a
Right.
lot from time to time, but I also work out. Make sure that I'm taking in black seed oil and sea moss, and plenty of vegetables, plenty of water, different things in my diet, alkaline water, just different things to
Mm,
keep my immune system built up, which is key. Get to know your own body. What works for somebody else may not work for you. So get to know your own body, and when your body's a little off and when you need to step it up and maybe even fast and clean your system out totally,
mm,
so that it can remove and relieve some of the toxins that are in there. And then when you can do a little extra and kind of indulge, and you're good to go. So I would say get to know yourself and definitely take care of your body.
mm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna show them a little. This is actually a past flyer of one of the events that you did, but just to get them, a little taste of, what your food looks, your desserts look like,
And
because
while you're doing
it's
that, give
definitely.
me 1 second. Go ahead and show them that.
Oh, yeah. Yep. No. Absolutely. So yeah, so with that being said, she is a baker, and I vouch for her. I'm trying to tell you, I'm a cookie monster. For those that don't know, now. I love me some cookies, and when I first tasted her cookies, I was like, I didn't know it was her because I had came to her event, because she's actually performing and was singing, and then she had baked the cookies too. So not only did she tear up the stage, she was in the kitchen prior to the stage. Like, who does that? Where they do that at? Now that's multitasking. You went
Me
from the
all
kitchen to the
day.
stage.
Let me tell
That's
you this.
big.
I love baking. And it's funny because, some people don't believe you can have multiple passions. I do. I do. So that is a
Right.
total lie. That is totally not true. I love to bake. It actually gives me peace when I'm baking. I love pure silence normally when I'm baking. It's a thinking time for me, allows me to think and reminisce on my grandma and family. My grandma taught me how to bake. My mom, so yeah, it's a rejuvenating time for me. And then of course I love singing. I love being on the stage and interacting with people. So yeah, so I've got multiple passions actually. Those are two of them. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll learn what the third and the fourth is by the end of this interview.
Okay.
But for those that don't know, where are you originally from, Aziza?
So I was born in Indianapolis, Indiana, and so from the Indy to the windy. You know what I'm saying? I moved to
Mm,
Chicago back in '94. Been in Chicago for a long time now, so this has been home for me. But yeah, my original
okay.
birthplace and where a lot of my family is definitely in Indianapolis, and I'm in Indianapolis a lot. Of course, visiting family, seeing my mom, all the things, right? So yeah, but love, of course, both places, but absolutely, absolutely love Chicago. Not planning on moving back to Indy or going anywhere else anytime soon. Cold weather and all, love Chicago.
Right. Absolutely. Shout out to
Yeah,
the Nap and all my peoples in the Nap.
absolutely.
Yeah, they recently had the All-Star game there, didn't they?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
they
yeah.
or is it coming? Or is
Naptown's
it
doing
coming
it
there?
now. Don't get it twisted. Naptown's doing it. Naptown, that's my hometown. Shout out and much love to all my friends and family there. So, like I say, I'm back and forth quite a bit. It is what it is. Got two homes. Yeah, but I am Chicago for real since '94. Once you've spent most of your life in a certain place, and you've made friends and connections, and of course I've built my businesses here, and my home is
Right.
here, and so this is where I am now. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So, um, just listening to you talk, what I mean, is always so inspiring. Me just knowing some of your backstory. But so when it comes to baking, you just said that you inherited that from your mom and late grandmother. then
Yeah.
where did the singing come from? Where did this musical art come from? Where did
Wow.
that develop?
So the singing came from my whole family. I'm gonna be honest, both sides.
Okay.
My dad sang to me growing up a lot. Like that was my dad's thing. He just sang everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he could sing Temptations, Smokey. They called him Little
Right.
Smokey. He was in a singing group back in the
Mhm.
day. He was also in the church choir for a while. Then my mom's brother, my uncle, Remus Wright, who has a huge church in Houston. He was in a singing group back in the day, Pentecostal Ambassadors. In the gospel, scene. And all of my
Right.
cousins can sing, aunts, uncles. I mean, my family can sing. There's not
Yeah.
in, there's not too many people in my family I can think of that can't sing. So when we get together, we have a great time singing old school tunes, and that's how we vibe most of the time. So yeah, that was around me all my life. Hmm.
Okay, I have a curious question then.
Okay.
Have or will there ever be a choir with your family?
Oh, I don't know. That is a good question. That's a good question because we're all over the place. We got a lot of family in
Yeah.
Houston, in Indy. Man, we're in Atlanta. We're in Philly. We're in Chicago. We're all over. So I don't know how we would make that happen. But I will say that I have done some video footage of us singing together at different
Mm.
gatherings, and it is something I'm piecing together, and I plan on posting it. So I'll say this: pay attention to my social media pages, and sooner than later, since I've thrown it out there now, sooner than later I'll post some clips so you guys can just kind of see. I've got another cousin, Shakana, um, who is
Mhm.
on Facebook under Shakana Ali, Shakana. I'm not sure. Shakana for sure. My cousin, she's a bad girl. She can sing. She's doing her thing. She performs live in Indianapolis. My son,
Mm.
who's Mark, his name is Mark House, and extremely amazing rapper. He's got his project
Yeah.
out now as well. So yeah, my son that transitioned, a few years back. He was cold at it. He's still got, his stuff is up on YouTube. Sharif, yes, Royal Reef. That's my baby. It's my heart. Always here, a part of me. He ain't going nowhere, right? And yeah,
Right.
so talented, blessed through God, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And how do you allow your not allow, but have you noticed your music has changed since the passing of your son, Royal Reef?
Mm, I don't know that it's changed. I will say that it took me a long time to kind of get back into the groove of singing, again, and getting in the studio even, but and performing all of that. It took me a while to do that, but I'm glad that I did it, and I could feel and hear my son nudging me, and pushing me on because he was one of my biggest supporters, and telling me, "Mom, do what you love, do it, don't stop," and so me hearing that and feeling that internally made me get back on what I love to do. And I'm glad that I did it. And I've got some things written that I haven't done anything with, but at a certain point in time, they'll come out when the time is right. Yeah, yeah. But he's my inspiration
Okay.
every day, all day. He is, yeah. All of my
Yeah.
children, I love all of my children, and of course
Yeah.
with Royal Reef, us being connected, musically as well. Then definitely, he's always in my ear.
Absolutely. And if I may, real quick, I have to show him love because he was such a talented kid,
Hmm.
young man. He was such a talented young man. I
Yeah.
never actually had a chance to meet him in person. We did
Hmm.
have many phone calls, texts, messenger, et cetera, et cetera. And he was actually appeared on one of my shows that where I
Hmm.
had a contest. I had a YouTube clean music contest, and
Hmm.
he was one of the contestants. And so,
Yeah.
I was glad that he was able to, I was able to show his video, live, on one of my shows and stuff like that. And then I had like celebrity judges set up, and we would just like critique his music and give him advice and stuff like that. And he
Mhm.
was open minded. That was good. And he just
Absolutely.
appreciated just part of that. He was competitive. What I
Yeah.
mean? So I just love that, that interaction in that moment. What I mean? It was
Mhm.
all those moments because he was and just how much he loved the world and how much he just spread world peace. You
Yeah,
don't see that too often from young black men. What I mean? Just
true.
he was standing on business. He was standing on that business when it came to world peace, and that was
Yeah.
his being one of his missions. And I love
Yeah.
that about him. And he did it through his music, and
Yeah,
he was
his
accepted.
music, his lyrics didn't have any profanity. And yeah,
Right.
you're right. One of the points you just made regarding him is that he was open to critique and very humble. As a result of being humble, you can become a good leader. Good leaders, your best followers are your best leaders. So you
Right.
can't lead if you're not humble enough to listen. And a lot of times it may be something you already know, but you still listen, and you listen for that
Right.
little nugget of wisdom or that jewel of wisdom that may come across just because it's said in a different way, and it may hit you in a different way. So much credit, to him, props, respect, again, inspiration, for those in his age group that have an issue with listening, that don't really know how to listen. I say a lot of times, this generation and a couple of generations before this one is the I know generation. They know everything.
Mhm.
You try to
Right.
say something and I know. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear anything you're saying. But that's how all of us learn. We learn by listening to those who have lived before us, our ancestors, those that are listening now that are older in age, because some of the wisdom that they
Mm.
have, some of the experiences they have, we can always learn from. So, yeah, humility is an amazing quality to have, and he had that for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's a
Yeah.
sign and testament of how great of a mother you are, and and how great of a mother and whoever taught you who passed it down with your mother, and because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
Well, thank you for that. Now, I will have to add something to that, and that is you
Okay.
can teach your children, all that you
Mhm.
know, and give them jewels and give them wisdom and all the things, right? It doesn't mean that they're going to follow suit. I come from a
That's
large
true.
family. We're all very different. Every one of
Right.
us hasn't listened to everything that my mom has said, so that's also part of it. So you have some that may be humble, some that may not be as humble, or
Right.
some that may be arrogant. Whatever it is, all you do is pray as a parent, and you learn to let go and let God, and know that they have to live their own lives. And some lessons are going to be hard lessons for them, where they literally hit their head against a brick wall. They've been told by maybe parents, aunts, uncles, family members, the whole nine, but they still continue to, in their mind, they know the way and they're going to do it their way. And if that's the case, of course they have to learn, as such. And the same with me, the same with all of us. We didn't always do
Right.
everything that we were told or that we were taught. And in those instances where you may really know better, but you just think a different way, then God's gonna put it to you and you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn today,
Absolutely.
one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely used to be a rebel without a cause. Now I'm a rebel with a cause.
Yes, yes. I know that's right. Yes.
Things have shifted. I grew up a little bit, but
Mhm.
with that being said, you know, just stating about being stubborn sometime and not listening. Just let's talk about this community in Chicago. Do you think that that's one of the problems? Is like you were saying, like to kind of touch on, or you think that this generation or kind of like little stubborn? You know,
Absolutely. Now I will say that every generation, everybody has things that they experienced that the generation before them did not experience. I came
right,
up in an era, Generation X, where we were rebels with a cause. And listening to the music at the time for us that fueled me or that moved me the most was a lot of our hip hop artists like Public Enemy, KRS One. Poor Righteous Teachers, Nas, those, conscious rappers. And of course, that was an era where our consciousness, we were being enlightened. We were
Right.
becoming conscious. And so with that, the generation before us didn't really understand. I remember my aunt would always say, I can't stand that old Flavor Flav with that big clock around his neck looking crazy, And it was
Right.
like for us, we looked at it totally different. Like the clock represented is the time, what time is it? The time is
Right.
now. It's time to stand up. It's time to look at things differently. It's time to stand up against, authority that doesn't mean us well, and
Mm.
fight against what's wrong, fight the power. So yeah, it was a different message. And so from that standpoint, the generation before us looked at us in a way as we were rebels. So I will say that in reference to the new generations, they're going to have some things that they do that maybe older generations disagree with, or would attack it or do it a different way, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong in some instances. But again, listening to wisdom is very important. Listening to your elders and different ones that have experienced life, you still have to listen. So yeah, there's definitely stubbornness, more so not from a social standpoint in terms of some of the things that are being done, um, the marches and the just standing up for different causes. I don't disagree with that. I would say be careful for sure. We always have to be careful. But in terms of disrespect for adults, or elders and those of other generations, they have a serious issue with that, and um, that's not anything that's going to be to our benefit as a community. You know, um, we were raised, of course, to have respect, but it's not just about how we were raised or the generations before us. It's about us knowing as a community that you absolutely cannot negate respecting your elders and your ancestors and all that. You won't go very far. If you do that, it's even in the scripture. So that's the point with that. Facts. There's no
Mhm.
getting around that. There's no gray area. It's just you do have to be
Right.
respectful. Even if you have a difference of opinion or if you disagree, you
Right.
still have to be respectful.
That's right. Look at you, with your hip hop knowledge and influence. Um,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
there's a saying that these kids say these days. They say stay dangerous, and I always correct them and say no, stay safe. Because if
Mhm.
you stay dangerous, you will definitely get what you're looking for. And words are too powerful to be playing with that. You know what I'm saying? So forget
Yeah.
that staying dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Stay safe. It's always about staying safe. It's always about getting back home the way that you came. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That's always the goal. You know what I mean? So don't
Absolutely.
play
Yeah.
with that energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
Never.
right.
You know,
Words
I
are
just remind
powerful.
the younger folks. Yeah, exactly. It's too
Yeah.
powerful. Those words too powerful.
Yeah.
Um,
Stay
but you
lifted.
know,
Stay up. That's the thing. Stay lifted. Always stay up. Stay elevated. Yeah.
stay
You're right.
blessed.
Don't stay
I
dangerous. Stay blessed. That's right. So many positive
Right.
words that we can put with stay other than stay dangerous.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so with your hip hop background, being a lover of hip hop, you know, because I don't know all of your music, but all the music I ever heard from you, I definitely loved it. You know what I mean? You're a great performer, songwriter, artist, performer.
Yeah.
But with that being said, with the hip hop, did you ever rap? Did Aziza was ever like MC Aziza or something like that? I don't know. Let the people know.
Well, yeah, I do have rap skills, and one of the songs
Okay.
that I did recently that we promoted a little bit, but kind of shelved it, so it'll be coming back out, and it's got a reggaeton feel to
Okay.
it, dance hall, and I'm rapping in the song a little bit, but yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a
Okay.
lot of things musically. In college, I was part of the jazz ensemble, the opera choir. I've been in theater,
Mm.
so music. I love music, all types of music. Yeah,
Okay. So what
yeah.
is your favorite part of the musical
Mhm.
process?
Mhm.
Is it the writing process? Is it the taking the writing and and develop, and performing it on the mic? Is it the
Mhm.
studio? Is it, like what's your favorite part if you have a favorite?
I would say my favorite is performing live because I'm a people person, so I love connecting with people. Um, I actually love the intimate performance settings even more so than the large settings. As a matter of fact, one of my biggest shows, or my biggest show to date, was me opening for Erica Badu and Anthony Hamilton, and the
Dope.
crowd. I mean, it was a sold out show, so the stadium was huge. Um, and it was a great performance. I love the performance, but the feel of it, I was so far away from the audience, and there wasn't really an intimate interaction
Mm,
where I could see and feel and touch and look in the eyes and talk to and get my point across. It was the crowd was too far away, for me. So it was a blessing to be able to perform to that size crowd and open for the people I open for. But I absolutely like the intimate, smaller settings for live music. Yeah.
okay. I can definitely relate to that as a poet. I mean, there's nothing like being able to, you know, see the reaction on someone's face when certain lyrics or something come out your mouth that they didn't expect, or with you, maybe a certain cadence, what I
Mhm.
mean, that hits them, what I mean, and you can actually see how, you can actually see it in their face as,
Yeah,
they feel it, what I'm saying? Your
absolutely.
lyrics, they might get that
Yeah.
tingle down their spine or something like that from the
Yeah.
notes that you hit. But being in a big arena, you can't really
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah. Yeah. This is true.
I
This
would
is true.
imagine. I would imagine.
Look, and as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
while we're talking, I'm going to turn this just a little bit. You see, there's a
Okay.
picture of my grandma and my mom up there. Both of them have hats on. Let's see if I can get
Oh,
it.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
So
turn my
that's,
camera off. Enlarge your camera so they can
yeah.
see more.
Let's see. I'm trying to
Yeah,
angle
turn
it where you
yours.
guys can see. Yeah. So, so yeah, that
Nice,
was
nice.
my inspiration for baking there.
I love it.
Okay.
No, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Always. I love the personality and being personal, keeping it personal, like you say, being a people's person.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if this is appropriate. You ever get tired of people? Not tired of me. Hey, hold on.
No,
I
I don't.
love people, but I'm just
Right,
saying,
right.
like, I'm just being 100. Can I keep it 100? Can I keep it
Oh,
1,000
definitely.
with you? One,
Yeah.
1,000,000. Sometimes I do get not maybe tired isn't the word, appropriate
Mhm.
terminology, but
Mhm.
sometimes I like to be alone, alone.
Absolutely. Now
I need my
that's
alone
the way to
time because
put
I'm
it.
around,
Yeah.
right? Because I'll be around people so much from,
Absolutely.
on the
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
entertainment,
Yeah.
sales, whatever the case may be, I need that peace time. So what do you do for your peace time after,
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
around people so much? Because there's so many energies that you interact with, a lot. So
Yeah. I mean, you hit
how
the
do you
nail
do
on
that?
the head, being alone, having that me time. And I have that more often than not. Because I love my peace. I love silence actually. So as much as I love music and I love movies, I love all that, but most of my day is kind of filled with silence. I love mornings, early mornings. So I'm up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, in the morning. I love to
Mm,
see the sun rise. So I'm up before the sun rises, and that is just a very serene time. During that time, I don't hear any cars going by. You don't hear nobody's up during that hour, right? So yeah, it's very peaceful, and yeah, you have to balance, especially when you're in the public a lot, to where you have that me time and that space. That quiet time. Quieting your mind is essential. For you to get a lot of things done, to multitask. To organize, to doing all the things, you have to have that balance. Yeah. And you guys see me kind
no,
of looking off and smiling because my granddaughters have just gotten here too. So they're looking at me and they're being very
mhm.
quiet and very good. But yeah, they're smiling. They're expecting me to greet them. So I'm greeting them with a smile right now. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, that's what's up. A piece to the family, peace to all the
Yeah.
family.
Uh-huh.
Um, I love it. And I'll try not to take too much of your time today. So,
Mhm.
let's fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about Jamaica. Let me ask, what
Mhm.
was your reason for being there? Was it business or pleasure first?
Mhm. First of all, it was
Jamaica.
pleasure. We were there celebrating my sister's birthday. She had just had a birthday in October. My sister Connie, shout out to Connie. Shout out to my younger sister, our youngest sister Jenny, her friend Simone, our other sister, who's actually from Jamaica, and Ayana, who was there visiting as well, one of my sister's friends from Texas.
Okay.
And so we were there celebrating. Simone actually put the trip together with her being from Jamaica. And so we
Right.
were all invited to celebrate my sister's birthday, and we made it happen. So yeah, that's why we were there. Yeah.
Okay. So what day was that, and what day did
Mhm.
the hurricane start to,
Yeah. Yeah.
let me ask let me reframe that question real quick, please, if I may.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
what was the time period in between the date of the celebration for your sister
Mhm.
and when the hurricane first touched down in Jamaica?
So we got there on Thursday morning. And when we got there, Simone was there actually ahead of time. She was there a week before. Again, she's from Jamaica, so she was there already visiting, getting things set up and in place for us. When we got there Thursday, they had been talking about a tropical storm. So that's
Mm,
what she made us aware of upon arrival, but it had not, nobody there was concerned. It hadn't
mm,
escalated to the stage 5 category and Hurricane Melissa and all of that until literally things escalated within days. So we were there
mm,
Thursday. We, got settled into the villa that we were at, the first villa that we were at. We actually went out on an excursion. We went to on a rafting excursion. Everything
mm,
was beautiful. Like people were out. We were all enjoying. And then come Friday, the talks got a little more serious.
mm,
Those in Jamaica were getting a little concerned, and normally, even the driver that was driving us around, and I'll put a link to his company as well. They facilitate tours and transportation and all that wonderful company. So he let us know that they weren't concerned there because normally hurricanes don't hit Jamaica. It's something about when
mm.
when the hurricanes kind of come that way. Maybe they bounce against the mountains, whatever it is, to where Jamaica's not, really prone to experiencing hurricanes like that. So it's
Right.
normally just kind of passing. So again, no one there was concerned. And of course, if people in Jamaica are not concerned, why would we be concerned? Correct. So come
Right. Exactly.
Friday, like I say, things started escalating. The talk started escalating a little bit. Like, okay, not just tropical storm, but hurricane status. But even then, they were talking about maybe a category 1 or 2. Okay. Um, at
Mm,
that point, come Friday evening, like I say, things were escalating like by the hour at that point. Come Friday
right.
evening, we were looking at, okay, wow, things are getting a little more serious. Let's look at maybe getting out of here a day earlier or 2. We were scheduled to leave on Monday. The hurricane was going to hit Tuesday. So we were scheduled to
Right.
leave Monday, and we were like, okay, let's research and see how soon we can get out of here. Do we need to leave Saturday or Sunday? But let's go ahead and just get up out of here. And so we checked on flights. Nothing was available on Saturday. So they scheduled
Mm.
all of us for Sunday to leave out of Montego Bay, which is where we had flown into.
Okay.
Um,
Montego Bay.
Montego Bay, yeah. Um, so Saturday came, and towards Saturday early evening, different ones that were in our party were getting notifications saying that we would not be flying out. They wouldn't be flying out on Sunday, that they had to reschedule them again. I personally hadn't gotten a notification on it yet, so we didn't know what was going on. Long story short, Sunday, they had closed the airport. Beautiful day
Wow.
Sunday. There was no reason at all for them to have closed the airport. They had to know that people were trying to get out of there, that were, that were tourists, that were visitors. Since, the
Mm,
hurricane had become a thing, we were definitely trying to get out, and of course they had rescheduled flights for Sunday. So we were really upset that they closed the airport. And so we were like, okay, when are we going to get out of here? At that point, they had rescheduled our flights for Thursday, which meant we would be there through the hurricane. So at
mm,
that point for us, we were staying in a place, a villa that was really nice. But Simone, again, being from there, she had
mm,
connections with other facilities as well. So she actually wanted us to transfer to another resort or villa that she knew of, that was built about a year ago, and it was hurricane proof. So we transferred
okay.
and we literally moved into this other villa. And again, solar paneled, hurricane proof. So we felt really safe. Um, we were in Ocho Rios. Okay. So we flew into Montego Bay, but Ocho Rios is like an hour and a half drive from Montego Bay. So we had driven in an hour and a half to Ocho Rios. So we were still a ways from Montego Bay. Even
Okay.
with the talk, they were saying that the hurricane would hit like the Kingston area. So no talk
Mm,
of Montego Bay, nothing on the side that we were at. So we weren't really concerned to that degree, but we were thankful that we were in a place that was hurricane proof, just in case we felt anything, okay, or experienced anything.
right.
Tuesday came, hurricane hit. Um, we saw from outside of the window palm trees, different things just,
Mm,
being blown, being destroyed, and winds blowing ferociously, rain,
mm,
very hard. But literally, we were looking through the window, and when I say the place
wow.
was hurricane proof, the place was called Opulence. And it was very secure. So even after the hurricane hit the next day, a lot of Jamaica was without power. We still had power because the place was solar paneled, so we didn't experience that. We did have to be careful as far as our usage of water, and at that point we started experiencing the after effects in terms of, as we went out, the traffic was crazy because people from Montego Bay were actually having to drive to Ocho Rios just to get fuel for their generators. So the gas stations, I mean, the lines were like down the street, 2 blocks away. The
Mm,
grocery stores, even people coming from Montego Bay and from surrounding areas just to get food. So the food started, food shortages with different things. We had to be aware of that we couldn't just eat like we were eating before. Um, and then the backside of that for us, which was horrific. uh, we thought we would get out of there Thursday. They went from Thursday to Friday. Then they rescheduled us till
mm,
Saturday. We didn't know when we were leaving up out of there. It was just crazy. We ended up having to travel all the way down to Kingston in order to fly out of the
yeah.
Kingston airport because, of course, the hurricane had hit Montego Bay, and the Bay airport was destroyed. So we weren't going to be able to fly out of Montego Bay. They had no business rescheduling our flights for Montego Bay at all. So yeah, that was very frustrating. We were very angered at the airlines for not just being honest about the situation at the airport. And Simone actually contacted a couple of friends that she knew that were air traffic controllers and just people in the
Mm,
that work with the airlines to give us real information, updated information, so that we can make a solid decision. Because at that point, of course, we're losing work. We're having to spend out extra as a result of being there, and so it became a lot in the end. Yeah.
yeah, I can see how that can become a financial burden, unexpected. You go there for one thing, thinking that you're coming back on one day, and everything's been extended
Yeah.
because of such um man devastation, brutal winds, catastrophic. How big was
Mhm.
the place, the villa that you were staying in that was hurricane proof? Like, how what was the capacity? How many occupants could it hold? Do
Let
you
me see. I gotta
estimate?
think about the bedrooms they had there. Let's see, so there were like four upstairs. I want to say it wasn't a large villa. This wasn't. This was kind of a private villa, so maybe 12 people. We were the only
Mm.
people there. So,
What?
yeah, we were actually the only people there, and there were four of us that were staying there at the time. So, I don't know if the villa had been closed before that and they just weren't open. But again, Simone knew the people there. So, I don't know if they opened it up just for us, if they had been previously closed, or if they had closed down for the hurricane. But, she made the call, and so we were able to get in. Not sure how that went, but we were just blessed to be there.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's a
Mhm.
blessing that you made it back safely. How was Simone and her side of the family?
Oh, they were fine. Her family was fine. I have other friends, other friends of mine that were from Jamaica that some of their family was hit hard in Montego Bay, in Westmoreland. Yeah, so lots of Jamaica suffered and is still suffering, rebuilding. As a matter of fact, Simone has put together a link that I will share, her and my
Okay.
sister Kanice, to where people can give, they can donate to families in Jamaica that are suffering, because literally people's homes were destroyed. They're doing a lot of rebuilding right now. Yeah. So, blessings, peace, love to Jamaica. Please help in
Mm.
any way that you can. Anybody that you know of, anybody that you know of that has a link or that is collecting money, that's trustworthy, of course, that will get to these, to Jamaicans and their families. Definitely support in some type of way if you can, because they are Jamaica. A lot of Jamaica's devastated right now. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I can't imagine. And definitely, after this interview, be able to share the link, and I'll make sure I definitely post it on my page, and continue to just kind of share it to help, out, because no one wants to go through that. That's not something that you ask for. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Especially when you, like say, you're just going on a trip to celebrate a birthday, and just how quickly life can change.
Absolutely.
When they go from tropical winds to violent winds, to
Yeah.
the point to where and if I can share some pictures real quick, and these pictures are just showing signs of the devastation that
Yeah.
was Jamaica experienced, unfortunately. Um, no, this is
Yeah. Oh
one
yeah.
one like just
Yeah.
crazy. Mother Nature do not discriminate.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So yeah, I did a live like the morning of, as we were leading into the hurricane, then going toward the evening, where you saw the rain coming down, and I was outside for a while before I brought it in. So yeah, but and
Right.
then I've got, pictures on a reel and video footage of the actual hurricane. So that's posted, I believe, just on my Instagram page. So yep, Aziza Lisa on Instagram, but you can see some of that. And then, of course, the recent post that I made, the recent reel that I made is, pictures of the sunny side of Jamaica,
Right.
and the good times we were having actually before everything began. And even after, afterwards, we were able to still enjoy ourselves somewhat. And, in the facility that we were in, and parts of the town still open. So, yeah, we were blessed. We were really blessed.
Yeah, amen. I'm so grateful again you made it back safely.
Yes.
So when did you all prepare, expect to get back? Like, what was
Hmm.
the trip plans like? That you was coming back
Yeah.
in like a week, 2 weeks? Like, what would
Oh
you? How
no.
long would you trying to stay?
We landed on Thursday. We arrived on Thursday, and we were set to leave out Monday, so everybody could get back to work.
Oh,
That was the
mm,
day, Monday, and then, like I say, we rescheduled our flights to leave out on Sunday. Is when they had us scheduled to leave out, as a result of what of the news, and they switched that to Thursday. So then we were looking forward to Thursday, and we ended up not leaving out until that following Sunday.
wow. So 3 day weekend, 4 day turned into 2 weeks barely. almost.
Yep, turned into a little over a week and a half, about a week and a half. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And I mean, that's a blessing to be able to, you know, have flew out then at that time period.
Absolutely,
Um, yeah,
absolutely.
because I saw some pictures of the airport. I don't
Mhm.
know if it was Montego Bay though, but it
Yeah,
was one of the airports like, you know, really um it was injurious. It
yeah, yeah. Probably
had people
Montego
been
Bay.
injured.
Montego Bay was devastated. It was done. It was done.
Yeah.
But what was interesting with that and what had us a little confused is that there were commercial flights flying into
Mm,
Montego Bay to pick up passengers. But these were from other countries. Like the UK, they looked out for their people.
oh,
There were people,
wow.
planes coming in, commercial flights picking up people for London and all around the UK. But not the good old US of A.
Right.
Yeah, we were left to fend for ourselves. There was nothing coming for us. So yeah, our
Wow.
airlines were canceling flights and shutting down things and not giving correct
Mm,
information and rescheduling, and we didn't know what was going on. So yeah, it was a lot. And of course, there were commercial flights coming into Montego Bay, even with the devastation, bringing supplies and different things that had to be brought in. And as a result of them pulling in and bringing the supplies, when they left out, they were leaving out with people going to other countries, getting them out of there.
mm,
Yeah. So
wow. Again, just, you know, nothing less than a blessing that to be
yeah,
able to survive and to have your family and friends that's connected to you was actually a miracle that they were safe as well with all the, you know, with all the catastrophic, you know,
yeah,
things that happened during that
absolutely.
time.
Yeah, so I
Yeah,
and
so
I would say this is something I just want to mention because I
yeah.
just thought it was ridiculous. But in light of getting the information on Friday and how things started escalating, of course, we reached out to those our loved ones and friends and let them know that we were there, so they would know what was going on. We were there and looked like we were going to be there throughout this hurricane, and we would keep them posted. And some of the the most how should I say it, silly questions and offensive questions were, why would you go there and there was a hurricane coming? That made no sense
Right.
to me. Like, you wouldn't go there and a hurricane is coming. So obviously I didn't know that. Okay, obviously we didn't know that. But again,
Yep.
God saw us through. We were blessed, and thank you to all of those who were genuinely concerned and literally were texting and trying to call and just figure out, hey, are you okay? What's the update? Where are you guys at? I mean, those are the kind of questions you want to hear in that situation when you're really concerned and you don't know what's what. You know what I mean? Even though we were in a facility that was hurricane proof, that may not have meant anything. You know what I mean? We had never experienced a
Right.
hurricane before. Um,
Mm,
we were testing the facility out. Again, it was just built a year ago, so we really didn't know what to expect. So of course, we were, there was a sense of fear there. We didn't know what to expect. We were prayerful and felt that God would cover us, but you never know. So thank you to all my friends, family, those who were, when I say genuinely concerned, you really, called and text and asked the right questions to ease my mind of just, being concerned about, what was going on with us. And that was much appreciated. Yep.
definitely, definitely. God bless all those people who, like you say, was sincere,
Yeah. Yeah.
who sincerely cared. You know, we can be a mess sometime in our community. We can be a
Yes.
mess.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, will there be a new song speaking about this experience that we can expect from Miss Aziza Lisa Z?
Well, I'm looking forward to, at this point, now that I have my inner Jamaican, energy,
Right.
vibrant. I'm interested and looking forward to, rather, um, relaunching the song, the reggaeton dancehall song that we put out, and we didn't really promote it as much because I wanted to wait for the right time. So believe me, we're going to be pushing that as we get closer toward the end of the winter, into early spring. But for right now, yes, Wishing on a Star is a remake, another remake that I've done. And we're actually getting ready to really push that. It is already out, and I'll share the link for that. But it's on vinyl and it's also available for download. So, Wishing on a Star, which is an old school classic joint.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that, Wishing on a Star. And yeah, just really excited about the remake of that. So, that's what's happening right now. And then I'm going into the studio actually in January. We're working on new music that, again, as the weather begins to change, come spring and summer, we're going to be releasing some new material for sure.
Okay, absolutely. And I
Yeah,
look forward to all the new material that you've been inspired to write and record. But it's that song Resilient that still does it for me. I love all
okay,
the music, like I say, but it stands to continue to be so relevant in your life. And now another huge incident of a mark of your survival,
absolutely.
being resilient,
Mhm.
just showing that you're resilient and just, I mean, there's so many people that, that song is gonna ever forever be a hit. You know what I mean? And how can people find your music, download your music, purchase your album, and purchase your upcoming new music? How would they go about that?
Yeah, so right now, my music is on Bandcamp. That's where you can
Okay.
actually get the Wishing on a Star and Spring Affair. You can go to YouTube and see my music videos. You can see Resilient and the music video for that. You can see videos for some of my other songs on there as well. So yeah, YouTube, just look up Aziza Lisa, and or you can go to my website azizalisa.com, AZIZALISA.com. So, yep, you can check out all of my material through that for sure.
Okay, absolutely. And that's your recent cover,
Yes.
Spring Affair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
I
the
love it.
recent
I
cover.
love it.
Yeah. So yeah, we got some new stuff coming out, some video footage that we're getting ready to get into as well with some of this new music. It's been a while since I've done a video, so definitely for some of this new material, we will be doing some videos for sure. So yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
So
thank you. I
yeah.
want to say thank you to my audience, to those that support me, that have supported me thus far. I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm still
Yeah.
still
Resilient.
going strong. I got a lot to offer, a lot to come out, a lot that I'm excited about. So I've been quiet for a while. I've been quiet for a while. It took me a while to kind of get a restart after life was lifing, right? But I've been going and moving, and even with that, the movement has been a little slow. But I'm back on deck, and you're going to see a lot from me coming up very soon. So thank you all so much for those who supported thus far, with my music, with my dessert company, Sweet Love, cookiesandmore.com, with my non for profit organization, Wearing Big Hats. Of course, with that organization, we have a reading and literacy program that is named after my son, Royal Reef Reading and Literacy Program. And I am 4 years in now with Chicago Park District and offering reading and
Wow.
literacy classes to children. I've taught over 100 children in summer camp, teaching after school program. They learn everything from an introduction to different languages to planting and
Mhm.
gardening. We do a Black History presentation in February. We do a spelling bee for cash and prizes. So that's something that's been ongoing with me for a while now. That and some of the other programs that we have out of the nonprofit organization Wearing Big Hats. You can go to wearingbighats.org and check out some of the work that we do in the community. So, yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell in terms of what I'm into and active with right now. Turnup Life, which is the podcast that I developed years back. That's a little dormant right now, yeah, because I've got so much on my plate, but it hasn't gone anywhere. So yeah, just stay on the lookout, stay connected with me on my social media sites, Everything is under Aziza Lisa, and azizalisa.com for my website. And again, the same on YouTube.
Okay, absolutely. Congratulations on all your endeavors and all of your success. I'm so proud of you. May
Thank
God continue to watch over you and all your family and friends and continue to keep you resilient and safe and protected and covered. And that's the good thing about when you create something. It doesn't matter if it's dormant for a while because you can always double back, rewind, spin the block and hit it up again. You know what I'm saying? I do this
Absolutely.
all the time with my shows. I actually have a magazine to
Mhm,
where, it's dormant right now, but I
mhm.
can wake it back up. We can breathe. We have the power of, breathing the life back into it because we already initiated it. You know what I'm saying? We
Absolutely.
already formed it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's what's great about, getting started. And that's
Yeah.
what, just again, sign to everybody that's, just get started, you know what I'm saying? And then it's going to take off. It's going to go wherever you want it to go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But don't ever feel bad with, what I mean, not just yourself or myself, but anyone. Like, don't feel bad that, sometimes life get away from us a little bit, but once we get our grasp back and we get back to focus on what we like to focus on, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Everything's gonna work itself out and everything happens in God's speed and everything will happen when it's supposed to happen. That album's gonna drop when it's supposed to drop. That book is gonna drop when it's supposed to be read, you know what I mean? And you're gonna get out there and become that motivational speaker when people need to hear you, to hear that
Yes.
that that message or that sermon,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the church. Just continue to stay motivated, everyone. Continue to watch, continue to support Aziza, the legendary Aziza Lisa Z, you know what I mean, right here in Chicagoland. And
Yeah.
again, I'm so grateful to have you on the show. And, you know, um, thank you for speaking about the big hats um, and everything else that you're doing. Because
Yeah.
I forgot to ask you about that. But yeah, I'm
Thank
just,
you.
again,
Yeah. Well, let me leave
um,
with one thing that's important to me to
yeah,
say, and
please,
this is
please.
for my creatives, okay? Because I'm a creative, and so you have
Right.
different types of people, with different skill sets, different talents, different blessings. We are all unique, amazingly
Right.
unique in our own way. It is so important that you love who you are. You love who you are, you get to know who you are, and you continue to elevate and uplift yourself. Be your biggest fan, regardless if anybody else is or not. Be your biggest fan, okay? And for the creatives that are out there is something that people say a lot of times that don't understand us, that want to put us in a box. And so for them, it's really throwing shade. You know what I mean? They're really trying to throw shade and in effort to put you in a box. And so the saying is, jack of all trades, master of none. Okay. Everybody's familiar with that saying, right? That part.
Right.
But
Right.
most people don't know the end of that quote. And the
Okay.
end of that quote is what's actually very significant because it trumps everything that's said in the beginning. It gives it a whole new meaning, a whole new spin. So they never add the ending part. Jack of all trades, master of none, but better than to be the master of one. So it's actually a
Mhm.
blessing. It is a good thing to be have so many things under your belt, that you are, for me, that I am constantly trying to master. Some things may have mastered to a degree, my baking, different things that I'm learning. But yeah, I'm a jack of all trades. I am. I do quite a bit. I'm not in a box. I'm a creative. I am constantly thinking and creating and interested in so many things and passionate about many things, and that's a great thing. Okay, is better than to be the master of one, where that's all you know is one thing and you're in a box. And let me change that up. I don't even want to put a negative spin on that, because those are a lot of times that are a master of one, they become great at that. Okay, because they have poured into the time and the energy and the knowledge that's necessary to master that thing. So no shade, on anybody that has mastered one thing, but at the same time, also don't shade those that are creatives that have many things under their belt, that just do a lot. sometimes that's just too overwhelming for people. They're like, you do a lot, like you doing the most. Yes, doing the most and always going to do the most because that is who I am. So yeah, that was for my
That's right.
creatives who a lot of times may get discouraged by that same, because I did as I was growing and learning before I knew the end and that whole quote, before I knew the end of that quote and the whole quote in its entirety. Those were discouraging words, hearing that from people, not really understanding, wow, am I doing too much? Should I just focus on one thing? Should I just do this, do this or that? And for me, no, one thing that I do may fuel another thing. When I'm baking, a lot of times that's my quiet time. And because it's my quiet time and my thinking time, I'm also coming up with lyrics to songs a lot of times during that time. It gives me peace. It does something for me. So I'm actually multitasking a lot of times while I'm baking. I'm also creating and writing. So again, be you, be proud to be you and who you are. And, love self. Love self. Absolutely. Be your biggest fan.
I heard that. I heard that. Well said, man. Well said. And there's only one Aziza Lisa. There's only one I said, and it's only one you. And that's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? You don't supposed to try to be like her. You don't supposed to try to be like me or vice versa. We're not trying to be like each other or no one else. We're only
That's right.
trying to be the best version of ourselves. And that's the goal at the end of the day. Because you know what I mean, it's about bettering the future you. You know what I'm saying? The person who you
Absolutely.
want to be happy with, you know what I mean? And with all that. And, I can relate, Aziza, when, people like, you're doing too much. I said it. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm doing enough. So you better
Right.
watch out because I got it's more in my bucket. I haven't even touched nowhere half on my bucket list. Like it's so much more things I'm ambitious to try. As long as I'm blessed to be
Mhm.
here, I'm gonna get around to it when, what I'm saying, the time is feasible for me within my life, outside paying
Absolutely.
these bills. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But
Yes,
you know,
yes. And you got to do
that's how
that.
I be.
So, yeah. And thank you, I said it, for having me on here as a
Thank you.
guest. You continue to do what you do. You are in the community, you're in these streets, you're talking with people, you are educating people, you're sharing with people, and definitely constantly promoting, other artists, other people that do different things. You're putting that out through social media, through YouTube, through different platforms to make people aware of what's going on in our communities, the people that are right around us and what we're doing. Yeah.
Thank
And one more shout out to my babies, my other babies in the school system.
you.
I also teach. So yeah, yeah. Love our babies. Yeah. To our
Right.
parents out there, to our teachers out there, please be patient.
Yeah.
Please be patient. Have patience with our future, because that's exactly what they are. They are our future. We were all
Yeah.
small, young children at one time or another. They're gonna have energy, so have patience. They're gonna jump around. They're gonna bounce off the walls from time to time. They have to release energy, okay? And that's okay. We can be patient with them without being so irritated or short fused when they are
Right.
being busy. Allow them to be children. That's part of their growth process. That's part of them being creative, is them moving around, them doing different things, as they're exploring things, as they are picking up things and trying to figure out, or sometimes um, mishandling things and possibly destroying them. They're also trying to learn, they're
Right.
trying to learn what this is. What does this do? If I throw it, will it break? That's not a good thing, right? But but all that's part of their
Amen.
process. That's part of how they educate themselves. They are looking around and coming in contact with everything they can. And yeah, we have to just teach them properly, teach them with patience. And so this is for the parents, because a lot of times there's a lot on us as parents. Your concern is the bills, bills, bills. So, a lot of times there's a lot of weight and a lot of stress on, but please show your children love, patience, and realize that they're dealing with a lot mentally as well. Just because they're children doesn't mean they don't have a lot on their mind. They can hear and
Mm.
feel your stress, and they're dealing with that also. They're trying to learn how to navigate through that, how to learn how to navigate through your emotions and your moods and the things that you're dealing
Right.
with. That's not really a safe place for them when you're not solid and you're not balanced. So they're not in a safe, secure place when you're snapping off or they hear you in an
Right.
argument with the spouse or whatever. So we have to be cautious and cognizant of all of that. And to the teachers as well, you know, there's our teachers are under a lot. They're not getting paid a lot, but even with that, remember what you're doing this for, and love teaching. Love teaching. You know, I've heard some teachers, some subs, different ones. You know, they're in it to get a relief on the student loans, and they're in it for the wrong reasons. So you got all that happening in the school system as well. So that's even more of a reason why when your children come home from school, you need to really love on them. You don't know what they're dealing with in school. They may not have the
Yeah.
best teacher with the best attitude that day, that has done or said things that can't really be seen. You know what I'm saying? Where something can be
Right.
proven.
Right.
Teachers can say things to students,
Right.
that can, really affect them. So when they come home, love on them and teach them some of the things that they're not being taught in school, such as their history, especially our Black history, is not being taught in schools the way that it should be. So there's a lot of educating that has to go on at home. And even though we're working a lot, hold on, even though we're working a lot, we still have to educate and take time out to teach our children at home as well. Yes. Okay. And I'm going to have to cut this short because my grandbaby
Absolutely.
is calling my name now. At this point, she's like, Lammy, I have waited a long time. And
You've
they are
been
ready to
patient.
play. Yes, they've been very patient. So, yeah. But thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Queen. I appreciate your time so much, and God bless you. And enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much for just doing this interview and telling your story. And shout out to all the survivors and all those still suffering back in Jamaica. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And please don't forget to send me that link so that I can share it and associate it with this interview too.
Will do. You guys, please check back on I said its page, Mike on his page. On my page, I'll have the link available. And you guys, please support. I don't care if you can give $5. When people are suffering, a penny. Well, I'm not gonna say a penny means a lot, but a dollar. You'd be surprised at what you can send. You know, some of us are we trying to make ends meet too, right? I get it, but some of the
Right.
things that we splurge on from time to time, it might be a cup of coffee or, a meal here that we could have eaten at home. That $10 that could go to a family that literally does not have a home anymore, is wondering where their next meal is coming from. All the things, right? That can go a long ways, and people will definitely, I'm sure, be more than grateful. Those that are suffering, whenever you're suffering, of course, you're in a position where you're more than grateful for anything that comes your way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Aziza, Lisa, Z.
Thank
Keep
you.
making that great music, that's good for the mind, body, and the soul. Appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you. Peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Jamaica, Jamaica mom. Irie.
Salute, Queen. See you soon.
Okay, see you soon. Thank you.
Peace, peace. Thank you.
Peace.
And thank you for everyone that's tuned in today. And I'm going to piggyback a little bit with what she was saying, because shout out to the foster parents too, because the foster parents are taking the children out of the foster homes. Sometimes the children that who are being forgotten about, sometimes, who don't have parents or something that happened. So shout out to the foster parents. And when she's talking about patients, shout out to the nurses in the medical field. Shout out to the doctors in the medical field who has patience. You know what I mean? Because they have to have patience with some of these people, you know what I'm saying? Because I know my dad, he goes back and forth to the Veterans Hospital, being a veteran, you know what I mean? And sometimes they be dealing with things with medicine and all types of stuff. So, it can be a hard time sometime on, the people in the medical field, but the nurses and everyone trying to help those and everyone, shout out to you. Again, we definitely appreciate you. Much love to you. And make sure that you all continue to support the one and only today's featured guest, celebrity guest, Aziza Lisa Z. All right. That's my word. Talk to you soon. If anybody asks, I said it.